Hey there, it's James Taylor here, keynote speaker on creativity, innovation, and future trends. Today, I want to talk to you about the power of the creative process. So I'm here in Istanbul today. I'm actually just about to head on to go and do two speaking engagements, one in Pittsburgh and one in Florida. And the reason I'm actually in Istanbul is because we decided, myself and Alison Burns, who's called the Ethical Futurist, a keynote speaker on sustainability and ESG, we've been working on a co-keynote together that we're going to give in about 3 weeks' time in Washington, D.C. on ESG and some of the big implications of some of the changes in disclosure rules for ESG. So if you don't know what that is, go and check out theethicalfuturists.com. You can learn more about that. But while we've been here, we had the good fortune of being able to hang out with our friend Frederick Haran. Frederick Haran is a wonderful speaker on creativity. And it kind of got me thinking a little bit about the creative process. The creative process that we go into as speakers to work on preparing, hopefully really engaging, insightful, inspiring keynotes for our audiences. And there's 5 steps or stages for the creative process. And I thought I'd just going to share this idea of the creative process, maybe just give you an understanding about when I work on a speech, about how it goes through these 5 steps or stages of the creative process. So the first stage is what we call the preparation stage. So for me, when I'm working with a client, for example, this keynote that Alice and I have been working on this week, this is about learning as much as possible about the client, their industry, what the challenges are. We're doing calls with some of the people from that company, just to get a little bit more nuance on what their 2 a.m. problems are, what their challenges are, where the big opportunities are for this industry. Then we're also going to go away and we research a little bit more about their competitors to understand what the competitive marketplace is. Then we actually give it a little bit. We give it a little while, because what we find is you need a little period we call the incubation, which is the second stage of the creative process. And the incubation stage is where you take all that preparation, all that work you've done, and you just put it to the back of your mind. And it's been really nice here. We just kind of did all that work. We came here to Istanbul the first day. We just walked around some of the streets, not really thinking too much about the speech, but just kind of like mulling over some of the things in our head, potential structure. And then on day 2, when we were here, we had got the third stage of the creative process, which is the insight, the aha, light bulb moment. In our case, we suddenly realized a way to be able to deal with this keynote and structure the keynote that would be of most use to the audience, because ESG, which stands for environmental, social, governance issues, it's a big topic. It's a very complex topic, and we needed to add some heart into it as well, because it can get very technical otherwise. So we figured out how to do that. And we figured out the key, what we call the red thread throughout the actual keynote itself. And then we moved into the next stage, which is the evaluation stage. So Alice and I both came with all our different ideas, and we kind of spoke them all through and put them on paper and brainstormed them all and mind mapped them as well. And we just kind of looked at which ideas do we feel are most valid for this keynote, and then how do we place them all together? What's the order of them as well? Because in a keynote, you want to have that a really great mix of stories and actionable next steps. You want to have a mix of pauses where people can just think and absorb something, and other times you want to go be quite fast and moving things quite fast. So we kind of figured out the structure. So that was the evaluation stage. We were deciding what to do and which of our ideas to put into the speech. And then the final stage is the elaboration stage. And this is where, as Thomas Edison said, success is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. So literally, this was just Alice and myself sitting in the hotel room and for days just cranking out and working on this speech, refining, developing, putting things in, taking them out, cutting them back, thinking how we could say things better. Just constantly going back and forth, making it better and better and better, and sharpening that saw, making it a really tight keynote, and then timing it, and then living it with it for a few hours, going out, having a meal, chatting about it, and then we came back and then made some final tweaks, and that was the keynote that we created, and we uploaded it for the client, and then we're going to deliver it in a couple of weeks' time. So that's the creative process, our creative process for writing a speech. There's 5 steps or stages. So just a quick recap. You have the first of all, the preparation stage. then you have the incubation stage, then you have the insight stage, then you have the evaluation stage, and then finally you have the elaborations stage. So these are 5 steps or stages of the creative process. I'll put a link here. I have an article and a video that goes much more in depth on that. If you want to understand a little bit more about the creative process, I have an entire free course on it, a free 3-part training course. I'll also put a link there for that as well, so you can get that. So from here in Istanbul, now heading on to New York and then Pittsburgh. My name's James Taylor. Thanks for watching. Hey, it's James Taylor here, keynote speaker on creativity, innovation, and future trends. And I'd like to send you my free Creativity Blueprint training. It's a 3-part video training series on how to unlock your creative potential, how to break down any barriers or blocks that have been holding you back creatively, as well as how to generate and develop new ideas. In that series, you'll learn all about the creative process, these 5 important steps or stages in unlocking your creativity. We'll also look at some of the most common blocks that we have as creatives and how to break down some of these blocks using proven techniques. And finally, I'm going to show you a framework that you can use to evaluate your creative ideas as you generate them. So all you have to do to get started is to sign up for the free training at training.jamestaylor.me. That's training.jamestaylor.me. Thanks for watching.